not in line with the will of God, you must earn the searchlighting one. And if you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must earn the searchlighting one. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Because of power, if you take away from the poor man and leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must earn the searchlighting one. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord.
Of men are scornful of principles of godliness, wisdom, and freedom. But woe, 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 woe comes swiftly, man. But woe, 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 woe comes quickly. Yes, they use and abuse women, they raise no children. Of wicked thoughts, corruption, embarrassment, and shame. So in order to maintain power against the very forces of nature, they need to have the citizens living in fear. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for woe comes suddenly. Sin, just as the longest road comes to a bend, so do the evil works of evil men bound to soon to come to an end. Don't care that the devil takes over their kingdom. They would kneel if they feel that they could cross a deal. But whoa comes swiftly, man. Whoa comes quickly, yeah. Now workers want to please their employers and their bosses by victimizing their neighbor because today their party is in power. I see, but they know what they do is wrong, and it's weighing their conscience down because all men know that no man knows the hour. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for woe comes suddenly. I see, just as the longest road comes to a bend, so to the evil works of evil men bound to soon to come to an end. I see. Bye-bye. I see. In life and in the Bible, they have seen the fall of men of evil. They never learn, they believe they are in the next level. But whoa comes swiftly, man. Whoa comes quickly, yes. But the days are numbered, all the deeds are known. Their hate, their division, the anger, the poverty they have sown. But it's coming to harvest day, when the oppressed will have their say, when all those who hurt my people will have to pay. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for woe comes suddenly. I say, just as the longest road comes to a bend, so through the evil works of evil men found to soon to come to an end. I say.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it's time for Talking Points. I wonder why is my audio so low? Yeah, something is definitely wrong here. Yeah, I think a little better there now. Nice. Yeah, that more song and like it. Yeah, nice. Yeah. A special good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name's Sheldon Scott here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now 9 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock in the Spice Isle of Grenada. Saying a special good night to all of you listening to us locally, regionally, and internationally. You all see I'm watching wrong. I have to make sure everything. You know, when it's a Monday night, sometimes things does want to play the operating in a kind of way. So saying a special good night to you all. It's 9 minutes after. I can't go over the full roll call. But let me at least say a special good night to you, Zayla. A special good night to you, Xalia. A special good night as well to Zoe and Sean and Neela and Namara and all the other young ones listening tonight. Yes, bedtime soon, Bedtime soon. And folks, we will have on with us tonight Mr. Oliver Joseph. And you know, Mr. Oliver Joseph is very versed in a lot of things. And we're going to have a very interesting conversation tonight. Yeah, we have to have a very interesting conversation. Nice.
Serious business. There is a time for everything
And for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time that we address some more issues. Simple information I will use.
So we're going to be bringing on Mr. Joseph with us roughly about 8:30.
Everything is fine while I take you down a poetic line.
I want to congratulate all of you who went out in your numbers to the meetings over the weekend.
We've waited.
I saw you all up there in St. Marcus. I wasn't there, but I saw you all online, yeah.
Refrain.
I saw you all out there in St. John in your numbers. Most vociferous and energetic, yes.
To believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease. That's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll listen.
And folks, while we have the guests on, we will not be entertaining calls because I realize sometimes we have a guest on and that's when people decide to call. So I'm saying it early. We are not going to be entertaining calls while the guest is on. Afterwards, when we finish, we would see if we might be able to get a few calls in and so on afterwards. But we won't be entertaining calls because, you see, there are a lot of people that are attempting to mislead you. A lot of people that are attempting to give you a wrong impression of the right thing and a right impression of the wrong thing. You understand? So there are a lot of people that are saying some things out there and that are trying to, how could I put it in another way? They're trying to tie up the thing. Yeah? They don't want you to really, truly have a proper understanding of what is really taking place. For instance, let me use an example here. I have it somewhere here. Let me use an example. Just this morning, I was listening to, as most other Grenadians do in the early morning, I was listening to my Plead Your Cause. I like to listen to my Shaggy in the morning. Yeah? So I was listening to Shaggy this morning, and I heard an individual call there and trying their very best to twist the truth in relation to something. Yeah? Trying to twist the truth in relation to something. And let me see if I can find what it is that they said this morning. Yeah, I should be able to find that. Right. So let me see if I could find that and if I could get that to open there. Yeah, I think I find it. Nice. So let me hold on there and let me see if I could get that to play there. So let's see if we could hear what the individual was saying this morning. And when we're discussing later, we're going to discuss if that making sense. I'm not taking calls right now for those trying to get in now. No, we're not taking calls right now. Yeah. So let's see if we could understand what this individual is trying to say here.
Now, out of the 79 member states, a few, maybe about less than half a dozen, are still studying the document because of the enormity of it. And Grenada was still studying the document. Now, our ambassador in Brussels, there was a little bit of time lapse between the instructions given to him and the press conference. And at the time of the press conference, that information was not yet shared with the ambassador. So there was a little bit of mishap and mistiming between the press conference and the ambassador receiving instructions.
Now, in case you all have not made out the voice, it's our good friend, Terence Forrester. I don't know, because, Terry, for you to go and say something like that, like you want to come back and wear green soon, man. Because obviously, that is a failed excuse for why a document that the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister said would not be signed until they properly vet it. And remember, we're speaking of a document as big as the budget document. So they're saying they need time to vet that document. Yet still, when it came to the budget document, 400 plus pages, probably even 5. They thought people could do that over a weekend. But they need time to vet the 403 pages. Now, the Prime Minister admitted that he never read that document. That he doesn't know what is in it because he didn't read it. Yet still it was signed. And then we have Mr. Forrester coming and try to defend that nonsense theory that is non-defensible. You can't defend it. It is indefensible. Somebody need to resign or be fired. Because there is no possible way that our Prime Minister and our Minister of Foreign Affairs ought to be there and saying certain things to us and saying, no, it's not going to be signed and they're going to look at it and nothing will be signed until they look at it properly. And while they're saying that, lash a pen passing. While they're saying that, lash a pen passing, and they're saying because of, come on, man, listen to Mr. Forrester again. Tell me if you find he making sense or if you think all are we stupid.
Now, out of the 79 member states, a few, maybe about less than half a dozen, are still studying the document because of the enormity of it. And Grenada was still studying the document. Now, our ambassador in Brussels, there was a little bit of time lapse between the instructions given to him and the press conference. And at the time of the press conference, that information was not yet shared with the ambassador. So there was a little bit of mishap and mistiming between the press conference and the ambassador receiving instructions.
So basically, Mr. Forrester is saying that we have ambassadors out there that sign stuff without being told that they should sign it or that they should sign it. That's what we're being told there, you know. That we have ambassadors out there that signing things without being told that they should sign it. That's what's going on. That is the level we at right now, that we have people that can just go out there and sign a document on behalf of Grenada. And these people did not receive the okay from Grenada to sign it. So because they did, they just signed the document. So either the ambassador needs to go, the minister responsible who may or may not have given the instructions to sign needs to go, or the prime minister who may also have given the instructions need to go. But this is madness. That's a lame excuse. That excuse is fini. You know, long time used to say you have a fini hand or you have a lame hand. That excuse is fini. Because I'm still trying to understand it and understand where that nonsense is coming from. Yeah? I'm still trying to understand where that nonsense is coming from. Because that had to be craziness. How can you tell me? How can you tell me, as I'm supposed to have common sense, that you were speaking here in Grenada and saying that something will not be signed until you review it and so on? Meanwhile, your representative is out there. So what are you all doing? Are you all throwing the ambassador under the bus? If it's that all you're doing, say it's that all you're doing. If all you're throwing the ambassador under the bus, just admit is all you're throwing the ambassador under the bus. All right? But don't try to give the impression that the ambassador is operating on their own, because that is the impression we as the Grenadian people are getting now. That this is a situation that people just doing things on their own, so that the ambassador could go ahead and sign a document on his own. I'm seriously concerned about this, because we don't know what else is being signed out there in the same way. We don't know if our Prime Minister is reading the things that are being signed. We don't know. So we don't know. Yeah? We don't know if our ambassadors are signing all sorts of documents. Next thing you know, they sign away our sovereignty. We don't know what they are signing out there on behalf of the state of Grenada that we can be held to. Because the Prime Minister ain't reading it. And you still have a situation where man, this is just amazing. Folks, let me see if I could bring on our guests a little early. You know, sometimes if I get them early, I'll try to bring them on early. Let me see if I can get the guests a little early so we could have a discussion around this issue.
This is not
Remember to like and share, like and share.
it. I'm just practicing to be a poet. Not qualified as yet, but have no fear. I'm gonna get there. I'm not in this world to live up to your expectation. Neither are you in to live up to mine. I don't owe no one.
So let me see if my guests can hear me. Hello, good night. Okay, let me fix that.
Everything is fine.
Hello? Okay, I know what's happening there. Give me one moment.
I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am.
Yes, you're supposed to hear me properly now. Hello?
Hi, hello.
Oh, I'm still getting you through the wrong area. One moment again.
There is a time for everything, and for everything there is a season. So man and man must reason. So I think it's prime time.
All right, so that's fixed right now. Hello, good night to you, sir.
Hi, hello, good night.
My goodness, why is this happening? I'm still trying to figure out what is going on here. For some reason, I'm getting you coming through on the wrong channel. All right, let me see if I could get that. All right.
In vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. You now refrain. I remember you say Liberation Day, and I ask, you sure is that you wanna say? Cause you sounded so good to believe. And deception is a powerful thing when you lose your rightful thinking. So we voted for the bling. But you trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain.
All right, I'm making one more try before I have to switch. Hello? Hello?
Hi, hello.
Yeah, I'll have to switch.
Get yellow, house get yellow, bus get yellow, man get yellow, even green get yellow, and so says 11-4. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay a tease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. Old school parables say you know what you have, but you don't know what you go get. So cherish what you have to diminish regret. But what on earth lasts forever? Not even things created by the great Jehovah. So the green grass ceased to grow to allow the yellow vibes to flow. But boy, one song I sing, one bell I ring. If we didn't know, we'd never know yellow would have treat us so. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay a tease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, you now refrain. They began with the blame game, giving NNP more fame. Past administration, the cause of frustration. Past administration, chief of corruption. Then to economic recession, we can't give you attention. Economic recession, the cause of poverty in the land. Economic recession, no employment for the ordinary man. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain, All your projects are stuck in a pipeline, but when asked, how is the country going? Oh, fine. We are looking into it. Never mind. Only projects in pipeline, no water to cool down the yellow temperature. When will they start? Please answer that. Oh, soon. Maybe by the next full moon. Although things are turning at a very slow pace, we now run no race. 5 years is a lot of space. It's just a few hungry people in a place and a few disgruntled grim people with their vexed face. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain, but you now refrain. Busy governing, busy managing, busy politicking, busy neglecting, busy inflicting poverty and hunger throughout Grenada. 1,000 Frenchmen can never be wrong, but you hold your yellow conviction strong, strong, strong. So why not send them advisors home? They're sucking money like water in foam. And rehire the Imanis, less stress on the economy. You are Manchester, whole of the country. You didn't see us down by the Bury when you send SSU to between. Trick us with campaign promises. We won't say a tease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain, you now refrain. So we've heard about your internal division, but some can't digest that one. Remember the man say he's an asset to the party? And will we vote you without him? You left him with Glenn alone. Maybe they're cloned. And however, I foresee a pretensive unity that will mislead a lot just before the next ballot. But you guys will have to come real good, cause it's a long time Grenada ain't eating food. You think politician good? Trick us with campaign promises. We won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain, you now refrain. You remember in the Bible, God had a plan for Jonah to restore Nineveh. But who will restore Grenada? Is it the same Jonah? Lots of doubt, so I'm running up my mouth. And I'm counting no chicken before the hatch. Politicians sometimes form a crooked batch. After they get the vote, they now sing one note. But here comes Fort Judy and Nancy Payne, with $1 million house and brand new car on the scene, while our hungry bellies still grumbling. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain. So yellow people say, next election not me stain that finger. Cause after we say enough from Jonah, here comes still with more pressure and hunger. And from the mouth of Grenada, only one thing I utter: the Congress neglect us, the Congress fail us. And I could never understand the distribution of the wealth. So drink your bush home if you want good health. And for real, we appreciate the free barrel, but they only come in December. So what we are do from January to November? Suck salt and drink Nawasa water. When you trick us with campaign promises, we won't stay at ease, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. But you now refrain, you now refrain. By the way, what will be your theme for the next campaign? It can never be about change again. And in what language are you going to tell people to vote for NDC? In Japanese or Chinese? You better wrap up $1,000 in yellow jerseys for we, or give us everything free as in the days of NNP, or else funeral for NDC. Whatever, Grenada still belongs to we. Although enough things affect us negatively, we are still blessed by the Almighty. This poem may not be liked by you, but I know you will like this poem, for this poem is a problematic poem. You trick us with campaign promises, that's the way it is. We've waited in vain, hoping you'll ease the strain. You now refrain.
so to the evil works of evil men found to soon to come to an end. I sing, but mine, godly men who don't care that the devil takes over their kingdom, they would kneel if they feel that they could cross a deal. But oh,
Okay, so I believe we've got that problem solved now. Yeah, sometimes you just have to call in technical people to help you with whatever it is that you're trying to do. Let me just make sure the guest is still at the computer. Hello, good night. Hello.
Hi.
All right. Yes,
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly, you know.
yeah, we're hearing you clearly tonight as well. Nice, good, nice. So down the road. Yes, folks. So we have on the line with us, we have Mr. Oliver Joseph. Yeah, and I know you all are hearing him clearly, isn't it? Yes, nice. All right. Joyce Phillip, good night to you. Yes, sir. So how you been doing?
I'm doing not too bad. Coping with the times.
Of course. And I'm seeing some things happening, and I know you're an individual. You were the last foreign minister, last minister with responsibility for foreign affairs. You were also the PS, I believe, for quite a while within that ministry as well, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
So you're quite aware of what the process in relation to signing of agreements and so on is.
And don't forget Minister of Trade for the first 5 years.
Yes, as well. So you would have definitely experience in this particular area, signing on behalf of Grenada and various trade agreements and so on.
Oh, yes.
Now, let me ask the question here. You've heard the situation. I'm pretty sure you've heard the utterances of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs in relation to this issue. Their statement that they're still looking over the document and so on. You may have also heard the statements this morning by our good friend Terry Forrester, stating that there was some miscommunication and the person went and signed. Can something like that happen?
All right, thank you for this opportunity. Let me set the context for this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not the first time the ACP and EU sign an agreement. Now, the ACP, Africa, Caribbean, Pacific countries, they were all former colonies of Europe. There were no European Union at the time. They were individual members. France, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, they all had overseas territory that they conquered, that they colonized, that they used for years as their territory. When these countries got independence from France and Portugal, whichever one of them, the European Union then seek to have an arrangement with these former colonies in Africa, in the Caribbean, and in the Pacific region, under the guise that they're going to provide development assistance. Although they left us very poor and underdeveloped up to the time of our independence, we hardly had proper infrastructure, healthcare, or education, because all they were interested in was our raw material. And so, way back, you had the Lomé Convention, various agreement being signed. Then you had the Cotonou Agreement, which is the agreement between the two parties. The European Union themselves grew because the former Soviet Union countries, they join the European Union. Of course, you know that Britain pull out, United Kingdom pull out of the European Union. So the Cotonou Agreement, which came to an end in 2000, a new agreement was negotiated to continue the cooperation agreement between the ACP and the EU. The way this negotiation take place is that parties from the both sides meet at different levels. Technical level, where they establish technical working groups, at the ministerial level. And then it is then sent to heads for sign off. During the negotiations, in the case of the Caribbean, we have a Office of Trade Negotiation. Before it was called the RNM Regional Negotiating Team, Negotiating Machinery. Our own Dr. Patrick Antoine was one of the lead negotiators for the Economic Partnership Agreement. And at the end, after years of negotiation, a draft document will be produced, circulated for comments. In the case of the Samoa Agreement, on the 19th, and I want you to listen to that very carefully, on the 19th of July, 2023, the first revision, Rev 1, I won't give you the document number, it's too long, but Rev 1, what is called Rev 1, was circulated.
So you said the 19th of July, yeah?
That's right, 19th of July. And that document was supposed to be studied by both parties and all member states. It is not a situation where you're just given a 403-page document to study for the first time. 19th of July, 4 months, you know. This document in circulation. The Council of the European Union, based in Brussels, published the document in different languages. The Council of Ministers met to give sign-off to the document. And therefore, member states had ample time before they signed the document. So I am surprised to learn or to hear that Grenada did Prime Minister, when he stated that he did not even read the document and he's not aware of what is in the document, and that he's hoping that the technical or the bureaucrats will brief him. Well, that was supposed to be done long before it reached to the stage for signing, because you have articles there, words there that you'll be concerned about and you want to address. And that is how these negotiations take place. So I am shocked when the Minister of Foreign Affairs said that he has a small window. Well, you had a window from July to November. That was the window he had, you know.
So July 14th
Not when,
to
yes,
the
not
date
when
was
all the
signed.
member states were signing. You see? And therefore, when our ambassador in Brussels signed the agreement, obviously, he had to be given instruction by the minister. And the minister would have had to get approval from the prime minister. And in our case, when I was in the former government, we had to get the cabinet approval before we could sign off on this document. Cabinet had to approve. But cabinet was kept abreast through all the negotiations, because what you have various topics, and then we will send to the various ministries for comments and feedback, because you have a whole section and say fishery subsidies, and that will be sent to the ministry, the appropriate ministry of agriculture. That will be sent to agriculture. So if you are intellectual property, it will be sent to the Ministry of Legal Affairs for the comment. The services section will be sent to the various services sector. That is how you do this negotiation, you know. But it seems to me that that did not take place, and that there's some more agreement in the meeting on the 15th. In some more you're asked to sign. Well, that's a lapse on the part of the government if that's how they're going to operate in dealing with agreements, because you're a sovereign state and you need time to study these documents, because it's for 20 years, you know. And when you have periodic review, you have to ensure that what is in the document is what is consistent with our laws. And if it is not, then you will have to make amendments to our laws. So, for example, the section of the document, which is Article 10 and Article 48, Article 10 on gender equality states, I'll just read the first bullet point. In Article 10, gender equality is the headline. The party shall embody the principle of gender equality in their national constitutions or other appropriate legislation. So when you sign on to the principle of gender equality, you agree that you shall, the word is shall, you know, Sheldon.
Not might or may.
No.
It is shall, so
Remember,
you have to.
Shall embody the principle of gender equality. I reading or direct from the document. In the national constitutions or other appropriate legislation to give effect to what is contained. And throughout the document, you will find that it must be legally binding. And that's why the government need to carefully have studied the document before giving authorization to sign, and meet with the various stakeholders. The churches have concern, the private sector have concern, meet with them to get their feedback. And of course, I'm sure if they approach Dr. Patrick Antoine for assistance, he will be only too willing to assist in this thing, because it's about Grenada. It's not just a party or the government or the party in government. It's about Grenada. So, and he's a patriotic person. And if they had called on his expertise, because he's one of the leading trade negotiators in CARICOM with a lot of experience. Both of us representing Grenada and numerous trade negotiations and several occasions. In fact, he was specialized in agricultural market access, and I look at non-agricultural market access and services. That was my two main area in the negotiations while he led the agriculture market access part. So this document has come, and I must say I was rather shocked at the comments made by both the Prime Minister and the Foreign Affairs Minister. In fact, there was no need for that statement. If you didn't sign, you say, well, you didn't sign yet. But if you sign, and it turned out to be, then I don't see why this point about you will have to study carefully before you sign, when you know you give instruction to sign. That was totally, in my view, totally unnecessary.
But we have here
Just-
the situation where Mr. Forrester is, who happens to be the deputy PRO of the National Democratic Congress and also a diplomat in his own right now, carrying his red passport proudly, saying that there was a mix-up and that the instructions were not given. So how could that happen?
Well, I don't know on whose behalf Terry speaking. Because
That's why I gave the two.
there's a mix-up. You have time. There was no rush to give the instructions. So while you having a press conference, the ambassador signing off.
No,
I don't know what mix-up that is.
Now, explain
You
to
know?
us, how does an ambassador go about signing a document? We understand
All right,
what this
so-
document is now, but how does an ambassador get to the point of hitting a lasha pen in the next country?
Right. Whether signing a document or speaking on behalf of Grenada or taking a decision on behalf of the state of Grenada, the ambassador must consult with headquarters through his permanent secretary. The permanent secretary will then consult with the minister, and the minister will consult with cabinet. So to sign a document like that, because you operate at a different level, it depends on the nature of it. The minister could give authority to sign off. It depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And in other instances like the Samoa agreement, it will have to go to cabinet, the agreement for cabinet to sign off on it. Well, that is how we operated. Maybe this cabinet operate differently. That it must come to cabinet so to get authorization, and you will see a cabinet conclusion saying that the cabinet has approved the signing, and then the ambassador is instructed to sign the document. The ambassador would not sign the document on his own, and you have an experienced ambassador in Brussels. He served for over 5 years in Cuba and worked in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for about 25 years. So he knows the protocol, he knows about diplomacy, and I don't think he's the type of ambassador, having served for so long in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that will just go and sign it on his own. That I will find that very strange. And I don't think he did that. I think he got instructions or authorization from the minister through the permanent secretary that he can sign on to the document. I believe that is what happened in this case. And it's rather unfortunate, as I said, that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs had to come at a press conference and make this statement. And so everybody is now focusing on what they're saying and not what the document contains.
Says. Yeah.
Yeah, not what the document says. I hope I was going to be discussing with you. Well, of course, at the next time we'll discuss the document.
No. We're
the
discussing the
contents-
document tonight. You ain't getting away. You feel you're going now? No. Wait.
No, what I'm
you
saying
feel
is
running?
what I'm saying is because of the statement made by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, every calling program I've listened to is about that.
Mm-hmm.
Every calling program is about that. And the where I read Article 10, and then I have to move to Article 48, where I read Article 10, because to me that's the main concern, gender equality. You remember when we had the referendum, that became an issue?
Yes, it did.
That became an issue.
And the very
And-
same person who's Attorney General now led the charge.
Well, no, it's there. They will say, well, and there was nothing to point out that if you voted the referendum that they will have gay marriage or whatever. Nothing. I was for this from the truth. So now the gender equality, I'm sure that's the one most people will be reading, the Article 10. Of course, there will be some articles that stand out, that in the agreement. And to reinforce it, you have Article 48. No, mine is far from 10, but it says gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. So you go a little further. Article 48 says gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. You have to adopt policies and have legislation that deals with empowerment of women and girls and address the question of gender equality. Article 48.
No, a statement that... Go ahead.
No, you could ask any question.
No, a statement that was being made, and some of the NDC activists have been taking that line to run out there. They're saying that we have our laws are our laws, we don't have to abide by those laws, and we would still get the funding. Because
I don't understand what you mean by not a...
I know of situations where, and I could remember at the last parliament, that I remember, for instance, then Member of Parliament for St. Patrick West, you as well stood up in relation to some legislation that had to be passed in order for Grenada not to be blacklisted. So you had to update certain things on the financial level, certain laws and so on there. And you always saying, well, not that we like it, but if we want to avoid being blacklisted, we have to change the laws. So it is not something that for a situation like that.
That's not a... Listen, but I read Article 10. Let me read over what it says. The parties, right, shall embody the principle of gender equality in the national constitutions or other appropriate legislation. You sign on to that, they shall do that. So I don't understand the argument about your law, and you didn't have to do it. That law, when you're talking about the legislation we had to pass, so that we are not, so that we do not appear on the blacklist. You know, St. Vincent was in Parliament Christmas Eve.
Yeah, they had to rush
the law. I could never forget that. I called one of the ministers and say, well, Christmas Eve, you see, what if we didn't do it today? Because our deadline was the 31st. All of us, the deadline for me to pass it was the 31st of December, you know. So we were there a week before Christmas, and St. Vincent was there Christmas Eve. You think anybody listening to what's going on Christmas Eve? The members of Parliament would love to be with their family Christmas Eve, and they're rushing through the laws so that they are not blacklisted, you know, from the financial task force. And so when you hear remarks about your law is your law and you don't have to change the law, well, I want to see how they're implementing the agreement without changing the law, without without complying with what you signed. You sign onto something and then say you don't have to do it. Now, I want to move to a different part of the agreement now. So there's a development component to it. Funds are allocated to assist ACP countries in their development. But a close study of the funding will show that, and that's what I'm speaking of from personal experience with the Economic Partnership Agreement. The majority of funding goes towards European consultants to do consultancy and to do studies. That's the way the majority, and they will help you to build institutions to implement. So they will pay for a unit. In the case of Grenada, it was the Economic Partnership Agreement. You had the implementation unit. They will pay for CARICOM officials to attend meetings in Brussels and all over, and send out the European consultants, and they will get back the majority of money, of the money that was pledged. You would not see money there for infrastructure development. You would not see that. So while we went through the last 20 years with previous agreement, the debt of CARICOM countries, African countries, and the Pacific grew exponentially because they had to borrow for everything. So when a hurricane come and wash away the bridge that you build when you borrow money, the debt and wash away now. You have the debt to pay. They have no sympathy on you. You borrow money, you build the bridge, you build the road. Hurricane come, you lose everything, but the debt's still there. You have to go and borrow again to build the infrastructure. I recall there's some major flooding in Dominica, and I heard the Prime Minister say it's better to relocate this community, I don't know if you recall that, than build back the bridge, because they spend millions of dollars building the bridge and then hurricane come, wash it away again. And he said perhaps it's better to relocate the residents. It might be cheaper. Build houses for them somewhere else to live. Because you're going to spend millions again, and if a next hurricane come again, and it will wash away. So these countries have not really, the funding, they have not been into use for, say, building hospitals, building schools, building roads, not like this. They said, they put the funding there and said to you, well, we're going to assist you to develop your institutions, we're going to train your people, and our consultants will do the studies so you can know in what areas you are competitive. So the millions they put there, there will be an office set up at the CARICOM Secretariat, and they will fund the office, pay for the staff, to implement the agreement. I think we need, as people in the Caribbean, the ECP, to really take a close look at the financing arrangement under these agreements. Because the same colonial masters, what they are doing is ensuring that they continue to get our raw material. So they grant you market-free access. Well, market-free access is to ensure that they have the supply of raw material that they can convert in value added and then sell it back to us. That is what still continues to take place. Every 10 years, we sign on to these agreements. And it's time that we do a comprehensive study. Well, midway through, they will do an impact assessment, and who will do it is the Europeans. And then they will say, well, we did not benefit as much as we should because we were not compliant and these things. But I think we need to look at our development, how this, the aid, the grant aid, it's not loan, it's grant money, you know, that you use, but they make it look very attractive because these millions, you don't have to pay back.
Billions, they say they're offering to the regions, but you might get a couple million out of it.
Yeah, you might get a couple millions.
Do you think
grant money, but
do you think it's a case that the present administration has been blinded by the opportunity for quote unquote what they thought was free money, but you really had to sell your soul for it? So what they thought was free money, so that they've signed on believing, hey, this is free money, let's grab it.
Well, you see, that's the carrot. You see, and that's part of the problem of developing countries. We always tend to look to the more developed countries to finance our development. We must be able to finance our development. So we keep looking to the same former colonies to finance our development. And that's the wrong model. But all governments over the years have done that since independence. So the agreement is between 27 EU member states, some of them that don't even understand the Africa, Caribbean, Pacific struggle because they were never part of the European Union. They were part of the Soviet Union. And after the demise of the Soviet Union, they then became independent countries, and then they applied to join the European Union. And so it's 79 ACP states and 27 of the European Union members participating in this agreement. And so I urge people to study it. I think we should organize some session to go through the various sections in the document. I have not read the entire thing. I first got a copy after the signing in took place. And so I myself have not gone through everything, but I'm familiar with it. So they have some of the same languages in the previous agreement, and add a lot more new ones because, you know, as time move on, new issues will emerge. And therefore, a lot of new issues are there from what I have read in the document so far. That will be of great concern because you see our culture and our belief system and everything is different from the Europeans. And if the Europeans are trying to impose their way of life on us, I think that's a serious matter and one that we need to take seriously indeed. And a program or whatever.
Yeah, you call it back. You call it back. You can't talk now.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah.
talk now. You're not call. That's talking point. We did it.
Yeah.
But
All right, so-
one of my other questions here, because I know it's a concern that many Grenadians have been voicing over the past few days. Is there an exit clause? Is there a way that Grenada can remove itself from this agreement?
Well, there's always an exit clause in this agreement that I recall the first one, the IPA, you have to give 5 years notice.
So you still have to stay in it for 5 years.
Yes, you have to give notice. And because you intend to leave, so you don't signal your intention to leave, you could refuse to sign, you know. Sign on to it. So, but once you sign on, then you're obligated to implement what you sign on to. And so it's not a very simple matter and one that we should just take lightly, you know. So I think there are a number of things I would want to highlight at a next program, at another program for you. So I will draw out some more examples of what is contained there and what will be expected to do. And we could discuss what the effects that will have on our population.
What I can say is that going over the document, I recognize that the words gay, transgender, etc. do not exist in that document. They didn't put it in. They very craftily worded that document. So they did not put in the words LGBTQ or for want of a better word, homosexual and so on. They didn't put any of these type of words inside there. But they said what they had to say using the word gender, because now gender is a fluid word in that somebody can be male and they can actually state in most of the European territories now, they can say they were born male, but they've decided that they are female. They can, so in some of those countries, they actually pay, the state itself pays for you to do your reassignment surgery, that you can go and have surgery to change from one to the other. in some of those countries, they actually pay for that surgery or give assistance with that sort of thing. And you are treated as how you believe you are. So if you believe you're a female, even though you were born male, you have to be treated as a female. So they've used the word gender very conveniently there throughout the document. But the other terminologies that they knew for a fact would send up red flags in many countries, or maybe rainbow flags. In many countries, they did not use those terminology at all.
No, you can get things done in various ways, because why would you want to come out explicitly and put these words there? No African country will sign that. Because I think they are more forceful than the Caribbean countries where that is concerned, because of their culture and their way of life. So, yeah, but when they say, but when you accept the word that you shall embody the principle, well, when you're ready to draft your laws and things, they will give you legal assistance to draft your laws. Yes, at the stage where you have to go to Parliament and you want to do drafting, they will provide legal assistance and they will come up with a common law. From my experience, they will come up with a law and they say that's the assistance. So they send on lawyers in that field to do the drafting, because they're assisting you, and pay them from the money that they allocate.
So that
they
money
get top European lawyers.
So that money isn't going to the rank and file average Grenadian. It's still, most of it is still going back to European consultants.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, they set big law firms that they will hire to come and do the drafting
and
for you.
And looking through the document again, and you keep mentioning the word shall, because I know from prior experience, the word shall and the words may can make a very big difference in a piece of legislation. May gives you an option. You could do it or you could not do it, and you might still get through. Shall means you have to. It means that you don't have an option in this. You have to. So when you see the words "the party shall ensure" and "shall strengthen," in fact, the word "shall" is used within the document exactly 1,826 times. Now counting and I'm doing my check while I'm talking, I'm doing my thing, I read it. 1,826 times the word "shall" is used in that document.
Yeah. Well, if your negotiators did not object, why you started with "shall," and if you get any objection, then you water it down. But if you get through with it, "shall."
Also, there are 7 references to changes for your constitution within the document, where they're talking to you having to make constitutional changes. Here in Grenada, I heard an individual, our good friend again, making reference to the constitution, and to make changes to your constitution in Grenada, that you must go to a referendum. I think our good friend needs to read the Grenada Constitution, and then he would know that you can make changes to the Constitution through the Parliament with a 2/3 majority, which the NDC now has with the joining of the Member of Parliament for St. George Northwest, not St. Andrew Northwest. They now have a 2/3 majority. They can make changes to the Grenada Constitution, albeit they can make minor changes which can have massive effects. Because if they say, for instance, that we're changing a word from may to shall, or from shall to may, it can have a very big effect on something. Because may would mean that I could do it or have an option not to do it. Shall means that you have to do it. And that may be considered by some individuals to be a minor change to the Constitution, which can go through Parliament, as we've seen certain things taking place regionally. It can just go through Parliament instead of having to go to a referendum.
Well, there are certain articles in the Constitution that do not require a referendum. And then you have some that require a referendum.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, if you have certain articles, you only require a 2/3 majority in Parliament. And then there are certain articles or sections, if you want to say it, that requires a referendum. So you could change it with a 2/3 majority. And yes, you're correct, the current government has a 2/3 majority. They did not get it from the people through the election, but they have it. They have the 2/3 majority. So they can make changes in areas where a referendum is not necessary. That is the simplest way to put it. And they will have to, because it says, and that is why I'm sticking to this Article 10 so much, because it says, in the national constitution shall embody the principle of gender equality in the national constitution or other appropriate legislation. You have to do it.
So therefore, there's a possibility we may be seeing some changes taking place to our constitution, but mainly through the parliament. And there's nothing much the opposition can do there, because you you have a third, but the other side has the 2/3 that is necessary for constitutional change.
Yes, if they so desire, they can use the 2/3 majority. That is the benefit of having a 2/3 majority. It gives you more. Well, you don't want to use the word power, but you have now the opportunity to make changes as you see fit by a 2/3 in Parliament.
And again,
so,
this is very important, because I think a lot of folks were under the impression that constitutional change can only take place at any level through a referendum, and that's not true.
No, that's not correct. No.
And that's why I think more and more of us need to get a copy of the Constitution and read it, because we'd understand these things a lot clearer.
Yes, well, the thing is that not many people make time to read, you see. If they get the Constitution and really read it, you don't have to read all at once, just read certain sections. Or I remember a good friend of mine, he always calling your program. I tell him, go and get a Constitution. And I say, read that particular section. I say, read A, B, and C. And then we will continue the discussion. And he did that. He got a copy of the Constitution. Actually, if he didn't go, I was going to buy one and give him. But it's online. I mean, the Constitution is online, You don't have to buy it, it's online. You just have to make time to read it. And I say, I want you to memorize what that section, right? I want you to memorize it. So anytime you confronted people, you could quote it with authority from memory. Commit that section to memory. Because a lot of things people say is in the Constitution is not in the Constitution yet. And a lot of things that is in the Constitution, people are not aware of it. Well, that's the same thing with the Bible, I hear people saying things that are in the Bible that is not in the Bible. But they drop here and that. So they just repeat it. No, I think people should make more time to read. I don't think we spend enough time, besides going on Facebook. We don't spend enough time reading the document. I don't know how many people go and read some more argument. Because 403 pages. And annexes.
You have to be somebody like one of us who like them kind of thing.
You have to have certain interest in that to really read it. But as I say, you don't have to read it just all at once. The chapters are there, laid out at the very beginning. You just see which one of the chapters that interests you. And you say, well, let me see what is this saying, what is contained in it. And read it up,
Let me ask another question here. A question that I am seeing. Someone is asking, what is your view in relation to the ratification of this agreement? What is your view in relation to the ratification? And for those who may not understand what what that question entails. Explain what ratification of an agreement is. And what are your views on ratification?
Ratification means giving effect to it in local laws. That is all. Giving effect to the agreement in local laws. That's what it means.
In other words, you bring it to Parliament.
Law, but you must give effect to it locally. You must ratify it. You must give different countries have different procedure, different ways they will ratify, but you must give effect to it in your local laws. Not just sign it and it's there. No, you must move to the next stage of giving effect to the agreement in local laws. That is what simple the ratification means.
Yes, because over the years you heard ratification of the Lomé Convention and all of these things. You've been hearing that over the years. So
yes, almost ratification, Geneva Convention, the Vienna Convention, a lot of this convention that we sign on to. Sometimes you will hear the labor movement say, "Oh, we have not ratified ILO Convention 198, and we have not ratified. We sign on to convention this, and we have not ratified the convention." That's always an issue. With the trade union pointing out.
Let me just flip a little bit here, because there's another topical issue that's out there right now, and I realized there was some conversation in relation to that today. And as I have you here, and I think I have you here for about the next 15 minutes or so, I don't want to lose you and I ain't talk on this one. The IMF report, have you seen not necessarily report, but the statement that was sent out by the IMF, because this is just the statement. This is not the actual report itself. Have you seen it? What are your views in relation to it?
I've seen it when it came out, when it was here for the Article 4 consultation.
But you haven't seen the last one? You haven't seen the last one, the staff visit?
No, I haven't seen the staff visit.
Okay.
What I've heard is what was said on the news. Yeah. But tomorrow I'm supposed to appear on GBN to the point with the same two issues you're bringing up here, so I don't know if I need to go still.
No, go. More people want to hear. Go, Papa, go.
You know, every Tuesday is Opposition Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And tomorrow I'm going to talk about the same two issue, the Samoa Agreement and the IMF review report. So let me say, now the IMF, of course, they come and they express a view based on the numbers that they see. They will express an opinion on the numbers. And because the IMF is the institution that is known for doing this sort of work, I remember as Minister for Economic Development, the European Union, we are supposed to get some budgetary assistance from the European Union. And Christmas was coming to the end of the year, and we did not receive the assistance. That time we just came in, 2013. And I called the ambassador, European Union, and he said to me they are waiting to see the IMF report on Grenada for that year. He said IMF is the expert on that matter, not them. They are not the ones that go on and do all this financial analysis. So you see, the IMF report is a serious report, because other organizations look to what the IMF is saying about your economy. But I find sometimes you take what the IMF said out of context. When you read the entire report, like when they came with the Article 4 consultation, and I read the entire report, the IMF saying in a report, because of the Fiscal Responsibility Act and some macroeconomic policies, which was administered by the last administration, this government was able to benefit from it and build on it. They gave a lot of credit to the new National Party management of the economy, and it is in the report. But you don't hear that. All you hear is that what they said. They said the buffers, fiscal buffers, were there because of the economic policies of the new National Party. So the growth that they're talking about, they had a solid foundation. And it's mentioned in the report in details. So when the report is being quoted, I don't like to hear just quotation from the report. I like to read the report myself, read it. Let me see exactly what has been said, so I can make a better judgment of it. Because send a news release out, pick out the best things there, message. Because that sounds good for you. But unless you read the entire report, and if there is growth in the economy, all the ministers need to come out and say, I heard one minister saying that the unemployment rate fell from 28 to 11. Well, listen, you are talking to people who live in Grenada. If you have such a massive reduction in unemployment, state which sectors that the jobs were created in. Where were the jobs created? As simple as that, That Grenada is a small country. Where were the jobs created to have this massive reduction? That is what you need to say, not just say, well, unemployment fell. And in fact, the last time unemployment was 28% was during COVID time. And that was because of COVID. It went up there.
The permanent secretary within the ministry has confirmed that. He did say that was a figure in 2020, the real COVID year itself.
Yes.
2020 was the last time we had that sort of figure. But the impression you got from Minister Lennox Andrews was that was the figure when the NNP left office.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, you have to be, when you're listening to what people say in the report, it gives you a different picture, because where the jobs, you're sending home people, but yet you see unemployment falling. Well, say which sectors? So for example, economic growth. Every time I mention economic growth in my presentation with the budget, I will always state the sectors, because people won't believe you if you just say the economic growth of 6%. So I will go on to say construction grew by 30%, tourism by 40%, wholesale and retail trade by 10%, educational services by 25%. You must say where the group, which sectors that the growth took place in, so that people have an understanding of what you're talking about, not just, well, the economy grew by 6% or 8% or 10%. The ordinary people don't even care about that. You're talking about economy growing and people losing work. People who are unemployed.
Let me use a wonderful example that I know you're very well aware of. I was listening recently to the CBI forum that was held in St. Andrew. It stated that at the high point of construction of the hotel in St. David, that is nearing completion now, that's 6 cents, there were over 1,000 people working on that project. And that has wound down now to roughly about 300 or so. So, I mean, if that's the situation, where are these other people? Because there are no other major projects that have started for these people to be employed on. They also spoke of the hotel project, Beach House, of that having X amount working and it's winding down too. So you have people who were employed before, and at your office in St. David, we saw the 1,000+ people coming out every evening. You're wondering, but that's so much people working down inside there, coming out from there, but that has gone to a trickle right now. So how could they be saying that you have more and more people working and that unemployment has dropped when you have situations like these that have been announced by some of their own?
Yeah, well, of course, and the thing is, the project that they are talking about now as creating all the jobs, a project they were protesting in St. David's over. You remember the big protests?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't build the hotel there. It will cause all sorts of things.
But you know those same individuals will be there with champagne when it's being opened, yeah?
Yeah, yes.
They'll be knocking the champagne glass clink.
No, but because they have not introduced any new project in Grenada in a year and a half, no new projects. All the projects that take place in Grenada are projects started by the New National Party. Everyone. They have not started any project.
Well, they're claiming
jobs.
they're claiming that the project on Fort George is a project that they've started. And
Well,
we
they
very
make
well
that
know.
claim.
We very well know that that is not the case.
No, they're making all sorts of claims. No, yeah. But I'm happy that they continue with the projects that they made there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm quite happy.
All right.
But they must give us a little credit for the projects. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
course.
they'll just take all the credit for yourself, and people know. Every day, when I tell you every day, every single day, when I speak to workers coming down from the project site, they tell me every day my name is calling up there and say, look, thank God, thanks to the NMP and Mr. Oliver Joseph, the parliamentary representative of St. David's, for bringing this hotel to St. David's. You say there isn't one lady tell me there isn't a single day my name is calling up there. They're so happy to see that we get, you know, this six-star hotel, okay, not 5-star, 6-star hotel in St. David. You know, when I announced that he was coming, one guy asked me where we go put the hotel. See, where you place in St. David to put the hotel?
And I remember various activists, etc., going down there and saying, well, look, you're destroying the wetlands, are being destroyed, and the land is being destroyed, etc. And we're going to see some of those same people put on the nice suit and so on and go and waiting for fireworks, because we know they will put up fireworks and thing there, fireworks and so on, knock glass when the hotel itself is finally open.
No, but I'm happy that the hotel...
There's a projection date of March, eh? March for it to be opened, yeah.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy because a lot of people from St. David's working there.
Yeah.
And from outside of St. David's. So I'm very happy about that. The vision of the New National Party, bring hotel to St. David's. Mm-hmm. And two, you know, and not one you get, you know, two, you know. Intercontinental is on stream, you know.
If you did hang wrong a little longer, might I get 3?
Yes.
We had the space, you know. St. David's, we had the space.
Yes, we had the space. Then more. So, tomorrow I'll go more into detail with the IMF report. I have some, you know, statements to make on it. But tonight I just wanted to talk about the Samoa agreement and the unfortunate statement that was made by the PM and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, which are totally unnecessary. And anyone trying to defend that, I don't know how they could defend that. You know? So,
right. Well, any closing statements, sir?
Well, tell the people of Grenada, pay close attention. You can now compare. You have seen what this government has done so far in 18 months. You have realized that they have introduced policies against the working class, that the houses that were designed to be distributed to poor are now being sold. The majority of the policies not intended to address the poor people of this country. and make your own judgment. You've seen the New National Party, you have seen the NDC, and don't be fooled when it come around next time start to say they will put back the 150 and they will put back and give you this. Don't be fooled by that.
Yeah, we'll be glad if they get it, but it don't. It's only we'll be glad if the people who need it get that 150 back, but it would
Well, of course,
only
they said they give
be
it 200. They said they giving.
and it would be due to the vociferous, continuous noises that the New National Party and its supporters have made. The NDC keeps saying stop talk about that, but it was the NNP that continued to speak about that. So when they give it, no, it's the NNP that forced their hand and give it. They didn't give it because they like people and they feel it's the right thing to do, but because the NNP shamed them into doing it.
Yes, you're correct. If on your program you did not start repeating that all the time and people calling in, they won't bother with nobody.
Of course.
And that is an approach we need to adopt more going forward.
Of course.
Policies that we are not, but not that policies that do not satisfy the poor. I think we need to do that more and more.
Well, let me make one little joke with you before you go. Like we were in Parliament at the wrong time. I hear salaries going up by all kind of 5,000, 4,000.
Yeah, yes, looking for. Well, we don't have to wait too long again. It's Monday's budget day, you know?
Yeah, so let's see what comes out.
Well,
it's coming up.
Let's see.
Monday is their budget day, but Tuesday is mine. I think Tuesday is when Wednesday. Yeah, I think
Wednesday.
Leader of the opposition will be speaking on Wednesday. So Wednesday is my budget day.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Brother Oliver, for joining us.
Oh, one more thing. Wait, I have one announcement.
Yes, sir.
I have one announcement to make. Our Women's Arm, St. David's Women's Arm, I'm having a fundraiser on the first, Friday.
Yes.
A luncheon. We're asking everybody to come out and support us. Right? On this Friday, the first, last suggest in the party office, Women's Arm fundraiser.
And then women could cook, eh? They could real cook.
Starting at 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to
remind. Very much.
We'll continue to remind the folks of it.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Yes, indeed, folks. And we had online there with us Mr. Oliver Joseph, the former parliamentary representative for the constituency of St. David. That's when St. David had a real MP. Yeah, a real member of parliament who used to ensure that things are done for them and they get in thing. Yeah, right now, you already know where they had it right now, man. Kind of thing I ain't up there. Whoa, and somebody was waiting, boy. We have a first call on the line. Good night.
Yes, Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just got one question tonight. I had two, but that's one tonight.
Yeah.
Is only one party in Grenada knows how to demonstrate?
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Soon time.
I remember.
Soon time. You never could tell.
I remember in Gary time now, so the nurses throw out all the computers, them, the computer by typewriters, them, all the windows, them already, you know.
Lord.
So, I don't know what is going on, but we got to keep hope alive. See if we can keep Grenada afloat.
Of course.
All right, I'll be here all ears.
All right, thank you so very much, my brother.
Okay, all right, stay safe.
Yes, indeed. That call, I was right on it, bad. 440-7377. It's 35 minutes after you have 9 o'clock. I will be staying slightly after 10. Yes, I will be staying slightly after 10. So we have a caller. Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Hi. So, I would like to extend my condolences to the family of Miss Nadine Paul.
Oh, yes.
So, most person heard of a sudden passing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to extend, as a member of the St. Patrick's West, extend my condolences to the immediate family members. I know how it is. Nadine was a hard-working person. What I want to find out from the Minister of Health. I want him to come out and tell the general public what is really going on in the general hospital. Because from my understanding from family member, Miss Paul went to the hospital on Friday with suspected heart problems. You told the young lady that she had an infection in her heart. She has to go home and come back on Monday to see a specialist. Where these people and them study health? Who is these people are really running the general hospital? Somebody come to the general hospital with possible suspected heart problem. You send them back home and tell them come back Monday. Friday the girl was at the general hospital. I don't really know what's going on in this country, you know, but I think we need answers. I want Mr. Lacrette to stop going in Huggins and buy expired Located and come out and tell the general public what is really going on in this country. Because people are frustrated and people need answers. The young lady would have been alive today. Chances are if you had kept her in the general hospital, you send the young lady home and tell she to make an appointment to see a specialist on Monday. The young lady died yesterday morning. Oh my God, my heart is heavy, Sheldon. Have a good night.
All right, my dear. I'm not too sure how I could have a good night after hearing that particular one. But let me give you all another one that I got yesterday. We do know there was a cruise ship in. It is the tourist season, so we do have many visitors to our shores. After all, Grenada is the only way you can visit heaven without dying first. Yeah, you could visit paradise without dying first by coming to Grenada. And that's for those of you outside there who have never been, you need to come. Now, we had a visitor who was visiting the St. George market. There's a particular part in the market that the vendors, the regular users of the market, have been reporting to the ministry as well as to management and so on, that area is dangerous. They have several people falling in that area because there's a high and low there. But according to how you're looking when you're walking, you wouldn't realize that there's a step down there. So you may hit your foot and trip and fall. Lo and behold, that happened with a visitor yesterday. A lady, she tripped, she fell. The vendors, together with others who were there, called the general hospital to get the ambulance to come down. The response that those people got, and I heard it from more than one person. Yeah, I heard it from more than one person. The response that they got was, the ambulance is not for that. Get a taxi and take the person up to St. Augustine's Hospital. You're hearing what I'm saying? There is a visitor to our country that fell, that could not get up, could not move on their own because most likely they have broken something. So they could not get up and move. They could not get up and leave. Yeah? Their spouse was there with them from what I'm hearing. And that person could not get up and go. They could not get up and leave. Right? And what happened is they were told, no, the ambulance can't come down there for that. Get a taxi and take the person up to St. Augustine, the private hospital. Yeah? Now, not only that, the individual end up on the ground there for an hour. If you're treating visitors, how are you going to treat Grenadians? If you're treating visitors, so how are you going to treat Grenadians? So the individual ends up on the ground there for an hour, throwing up on themselves and so on. Bruised. They fell down. They can't get up. They can't stand. Yet still, the ambulance refuses to come down. The people are calling. The ambulance say they're not coming down. The police come. They call. They tell the police the same thing. Until one individual calls. They continue calling the general hospital until a doctor answers the phone. And when the doctor answers the phone, he said, what? No. The ambulance will be there in 3 minutes. And in 5, it was there. To bring the person up. The boat had to leave that individual. They had to sign them off the boat. They had to stay here in Grenada. Yeah? Because it's a serious, apparently they've been damaged. Very serious. So they ended up having to stay here. If you're doing and you're treating others like that, are afraid how you're going to treat your own. Because when a visitor comes to your home, you tend to try to put out the nice stuff. You put out the English people say you put out the nice china, and you treat them special. Yeah? Then when is your partner from down the road pass and thing, partner, you hand him a cup, you give him china. You understand? Because all you like that, unless it's a special occasion. But if you're treating the visitors that come in the country that want to lie down on the ground for an hour for medical attention, you don't know if they damage the spine, you don't know if they break the hip, you don't know if they broke their leg, you don't know if there's a blood clot traveling through, you don't know what it is. The country could end up being sued. You don't know, but you're saying send them up in St. Augustine. Ambulance there, it's available, but take a taxi and send them up St. Augustine. That song is sensible. That song is reasonable. But that is healthcare in Grenada in 2023. Because we have a minister who more interested in trying to play like he's the MP for St. George Northwest. He's more interested in playing MP. He's not the minister. He's not the MP for St. George Northwest. That guy get more licks than a Rastaman drum up in a Congo dance, a bongo dance in the Congo. He get the most licks out of anybody. He's not the MP, but he busy playing MP instead of looking after the ministry that he's supposed to be looking after and ensuring what ought to be taking place so the benefit of locals and visitors is taking place. No, he busy putting up sign. He busy putting up sign. There are people in that constituency that have lost their 150. Some of them lose their seat totally. And I'm speaking here people that need to get Pampers, people that need to get different things. But he didn't find that important to go and address. Instead, he finds it's important to go and just putting up a sign. A sign is important. Because see, these people are all about the outward appearance. Inside could be dirty, but the outside appearance. So that when budget comes, they want to be able to go to the budget and go and talk all kind of nice things. Yes, we were able to erect a sign. You erect a sign, so what? Go to hell. You erect a sign, so what? People in the constituency need assistance. You're playing minister, assist them. No, don't send them by Dr. Mitchell and say, go by Dr. Mitchell. You playing minister, assist them. Or at least have enough respect to address certain things to the person who is the MP, who the people really vote for in that constituency. But you see, all is so disrespectful. All is so disrespectful that all they can't do that. And all they won't do that. Yeah? So maybe you had to change something and put a shall where a may is and a may where a shall is to make sure that all you have to do it. That's the kind of thing that's taking place. Now you're hearing this situation with this person go up there. And again, you're hearing about people who need to get medication and the family have to run down and get the medication, and you're hearing all these stories taking place. And it is causing problems. It is causing problems. These are the situations that we keep hearing about and we keep seeing. And when we talk about it, no, all must hush all them out. All was there. We were there. But at least we used to try to get things done. Clarice Modest Cohen tried to get things done and got a lot done. Mr. Nicholas Steele did a lot. And he ended up having the portfolio of Minister of Health. At the point in time, I don't think anybody in the world wanted to be the Minister of Health in their country. And he held on to the portfolio of Minister of Health at that point in time and did an excellent job. Excellent job. But you see, people want to change. You can't vex with people because they want to change, but they take change. But remember, these are the same people that tell you that elections have consequences. They're right, you know. You're seeing the consequences right now. The Prime Minister says it. The different ministers says it. People who jump ship saying it. Elections have consequences. Yes, we're seeing the consequences right now. We're seeing the consequences on the Grenadian economy. No, not what they report to the IMF. What you're actually seeing on the ground. We're seeing it. We're seeing all of it. Yeah? So, folks, we're going to go to the phone lines. We have roughly about 14 minutes remaining. We're going to give you the opportunity to give us a call. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. And 347-329-3101. When it comes to the Samoa agreement as well, there's quite... Let me just take this call quickly. Hello, good night. Hello.
Hello. Good night, and how are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. You go right ahead.
Yeah, listening to that you spoke about with the visitor. Now, these people could sue our country, you know.
Yes, they can.
And especially the health you're talking about, you know. No, they're advising the person to go to St. Augustine. Who's going to pay when they take the person to St. Augustine? Huh? This cost. I think what they should do right now, put an investigation on who answered the phone and give that directive. And then they need a job because they're not suited. You understand?
Because,
these people
and they
supposed to
kept
be
calling,
trained.
you know. The people at the
These
market
people
kept
supposed
calling.
to be trained, know how to answer the phone. And I think as an emergency, it could have been their family in another country and something so happened to them. Would they have liked to get that kind of treatment that they gave? You know, we must learn to put ourselves in our in someone else's position. That is very, very serious, and it's a bad thing for Grenada. These people only bringing down Grenada down and down and down instead of lifting it up. They have no place there in that in that ministry, in that job, that post. They don't know how to speak to people. They don't know how to attend people. They just don't know. That's why so many people are dying.
And additionally, caller, that particular area where the person fell, they've said that several other people have fell there before. And they've been reporting it and nothing is being done. Even if it's to put some red paint on the edge so people could realize that there is a edge or something, or to even reconstruct the area. But my goodness, it's...
Exactly. Do something to, like, watch your step. You understand?
Yeah.
You know, just guide someone along because you get in the report that this place is dangerous and people have fallen there before. So do something quick to save lives.
Well, let's see if anything takes place. We expect thousands of visitors to continue coming to our country. But if a visitor has a bad experience on a vessel coming to Grenada, it may affect how that cruise line views Grenada, eh? And if they think Grenada is a safe place for them to visit.
Because that person could also be an ambassador. You're not to serve as an ambassador, you get good treatment. They attend to you rapidly. You understand? When they go back to their country, they could say, well, look what happened to them in Grenada and look the kind of treatment they get. You understand? Indeed, they will say the treatment they get, but it wouldn't be a nice one. It wouldn't be a nice one. My goodness.
I thank you so very much for your call.
Thanks.
All right, my dear. Thank you. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Folks, remember, all roads lead to Buzéju. Yes, on Thursday. Yes, so Dr. Mitchell will be having his meeting on Thursday. So we'll get more information in relation to that. We've got a call online. Good night.
Yes, good night.
Hi, good night.
Yes, John. I listen to Brother Joseph, and I express my deepest sympathy to the lady who died, who was part of the NNP. Extending greetings to the family.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. 440-7377, 347-329-3101. All right. Let me say a special good night to Alban. Yeah. Let me say a special good night to Patricia and Matthew. All right, nice, yeah. Hope you all are having a wonderful night. Zingo, I find you give up your partner, boy. I find you real give up your brethren. Yeah, Zingo, I find you give me up, man. The Cathys, Kathy, Albert and Kathy Pope, good night to both of you, eh? Yeah, them Cathys and them do easy. Christelle, I know you're listening. Yeah, I hope you check out that thing as I tell you, check it out, you know. Watch, you ain't playing on that, you know. Right, make sure and check out the thing. Yeah, folks, and let me just give, next week we definitely will be broadcasting the budget, but we'll be broadcasting some now, all right? Nice? Yeah, you're going. Yeah, we'll hear it on Talking Points. Nice? Good. Right. Dr. Mitchell's presentation, definitely you will be hearing it on Talking Points. So you don't have to go other place, you know, you could come right here and hear it on Talking Points. But you know what would be even better than hearing it on Talking Points? Those of you that could put on your nice dandan, and yes, your dandan, or your frock, yeah, put on a nice frock and thing. Nice, yeah, go in the grip and take out your nice frock that you have there still. Nice, yes. Put it on and come on down to the Parliament when Dr. Mitchell and the other members of the New National Party team are doing their presentations. Make sure that you're there to lend your support, your moral support. Be there and lend your support. Yeah? Because we know it are people on the other side, they want to try all kind of thing, you know. Yeah, we know they go try all kind of thing. Because you realize they don't want the members of the New National Party team to talk. So they go try all kind of thing they go try to make sure that they either fumble you and stumble you, or that you don't get the opportunity to talk at all. And I know Dr. Mitchell will have a lot to say because I hear parliamentarians might be receiving an increase. Ministers and them might be getting a little extra $4,000 or $5,000. And that they're taking in more young people under a youth program. I would have thought that if you go in and do something, that you look after the young people and the elderly and them first before you look after yourself, because you don't look after yourself already tax-free with $24,000 additional a year tax-free. You look after yourself already, you're looking after yourself again? You did that Brooks when you come in government? Seriously. I mean, I know about Brooks, but that Brooks? My goodness. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Shalon.
Hi, good night.
Mr. Boson just giving them on behind the headline there with the same IMF thing there. Mm-hmm. Mr. Joseph said tomorrow is you, or tonight is Mr. Boson. Yes. Okay.
All right, my dear. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, Tuntun getting them across there. Yeah. Tuntun had to get them some last day, man. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not that, you have to remember too, we have a prime minister who say what he had to say about them IMF report and thing, you know. Yeah, he say you just can't trust them IMF report and thing. Yeah, all you remember what the prime minister said? Let me see what the prime minister is saying.
Country. The World Bank doesn't run a country. They've never done so. Right? And at the end of the day, you know, saying that you have a good report from the IMF doesn't mean anything if we have significant unemployment, if we have persons who are hungry within our country, if we have children who are not going to school because they do not have access to internet, they do not have access to tablets. And those are the issues we need to talk about, not a report from the IMF, frankly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hear what the present Prime Minister say when he was in, he wasn't in opposition. He was the leader of an opposition party, but he wasn't in opposition at the point in time. But I'll hear what he had to say about IMF reports. Yeah, I'll hear what he had to say about IMF reports. Let me put it up again for all, because I want all to hear what it is he had to say about IMF reports.
The IMF doesn't run a country. The World Bank doesn't run a country. They've never done so. Right? And at the end of the day, you know, saying that you have a good report from the IMF doesn't mean anything if we have significant unemployment, if we have persons who are hungry within our country, if we have children who are not going to school because they do not have access to internet, they do not have access to tablets. And those are the issues we need to talk about, not a report from the IMF, frankly.
Okay. Yeah, well, here, so we don't need to be talking about a report from the IMF. But hear him one more time. One more time. I don't want a little misquote the man. Yes, I don't want a little misquote the man. So hear what the man had to say about IMF reports.
The IMF doesn't run a country. The World Bank doesn't run a country. They've never done so. Right? And at the end of the day, you know, saying that you have a good report from the IMF doesn't mean anything if we have significant unemployment, if we have persons who are hungry within our country, if we have children who are not going to school because they do not have access to internet, they do not have access to tablets. And those are the issues we need to talk about, not a report from the IMF, frankly.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not me that say, it's he that say that, you know. That is what Deacon Mitchell had to say about IMF reports. You understand? That is what he had to say about IMF reports, man. He said them IMF report and them, he say you don't have to be talking about that. It's a different thing in the country to talk about, eh? It's a different thing to talk about in the country. Let me hear what he had to say about IMF reports.
The IMF has given Grenada an excellent mark on their most recent reviews. I'm not sure which one of you two would like to answer this. And in terms of the handling of the economy during COVID, and what is the of course, anything about this statement would you like to add? Anything about the statement that has been said by the IMF that you would like to add towards this in terms of the excellent mark that we get? Anything you like to add to that? You folks like to add to that? I'm not sure. Who wants to take a go at it? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I read the statement. I didn't see that the statement said it was an excellent mark. So I'm not sure if I agree with your analysis. I think the statement was simply, frankly, a regurgitation of what was told to the IMF by the government of Grenada. In a nutshell, this was a virtual review of, and these reviews are standard. Because of the challenges posed by COVID-19, the IMF folks did not attend or come to Grenada. It was a virtual review.
And folks, we have a call online. Good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm quite fine.
Right. We have a prime minister that is a fake. He'll tell a lot of lies, and he's a real fake. Let me tell you something. I want to pass on a message maybe for him. Tell him, go and pay Mahan and them for the material that the government gives people the housing that to help renovate the houses, and stop faking. He came in Mahan and them funeral, and it was like his meet and greet. The funeral was like he come to meet and greet people and show the fakeness, smile and make cameraman smart taking out people picture and putting it up on Facebook. So he used the funeral because they never could some coming in no cemetery, no funeral, but they find the crowd in the funeral. So he find the crowd in the funeral, so he come now, he and the ministers and them, to come shake people's hand, have people taking a picture when he's shaking, playing with children and them kind of thing. Tell this man stop this fake and run the country. Another point I have to make, I'm really disappointed, and I'm coming back to the religious, so-called religious ministers and them. Up to this day, all these conversation about same-sex marriage and all these things, and I haven't heard none of them. None of them. Pastor Sanford Simon, Pastor King, Pastor Benedict, Benedict Newton, all of them. None of them. Them is top line. They call themselves top line preachers. And none of them up to now. And again, the bishop for the Catholic Church. Come out and say something. We want to hear you all. Otherwise, Grenadians will lose all respect for you all. And they start already, because a lot of people say they have no respect for them. They don't go into the church because it's a set of parasite, hypocrites and parasite. They are all hypocrites and parasite. They're singing for the supper, so they have nothing to say about the ills in society and the bringing in the country.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. And listener, what the caller has referred to there is not a joke thing. Earlier in this year, I myself had a conversation with the late Francis Mahon. And I wouldn't say the figure that he gave me, but it was a significant amount of money for any business in Grenada to be owed by the government of Grenada. But because of the perception of his political leaning, they decided that they're going and hold off on the payments. So don't come and play like Ole was no friend with the man. Don't come and play like Ole so care and all kind of thing. Ole looking for political mileage. Because Ole wicked. Ole wicked. And Ole so evil that Ole could know that Ole do that to the man and still come in the funeral. My goodness, watch. I ain't go to the funeral, because if I go to the funeral, I might have tell Ole something in there. I might have go and say, I might have go up on the and thing and say I'm doing a tribute, and I would have say it. Because I could quote the exact figure of how much Ole just refusing to pay. Just refusing. All could find money to pay everybody else and all kind of thing. Even things that was in court, all they decide all ain't going in court and all they paying it. But a Grenadian that created jobs here for so many people in this country and was continuing to create jobs for people and opportunities for people. For all it to find the money to pay that Grenadian, all ain't pay him. But you take 22 million US to pay some people who we hear, who it is rumored, who all over the place we hear fund all your campaign. All you find 22 million US to pay them when they only spend 19 million in Grenada. All you had a case, all you could have win, all you ain't go in the case. And then all you had some people on the committee who should never have been on the committee in relation to a case like that. All you find money and pay them. All you find money and pay all kind of people. But when come to pay this man who was providing jobs and opportunities for so many people, not just young people, middle-aged, elderly, providing opportunity. And still, even though all you had him in that position, was still helping a lot of people. Not just in St. Andrew, all over this country. All you decide, all you not paying him, and then all you come grinning in the funeral, all you should have get spirit lash. Should have be media. I know how to say something, that's why I doesn't go funeral and thing easy, you know. Because me, I can't stay quiet, I must say something. Yeah? We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Shalom, good night. Good night, and good night to the Grenadian people. Patricia and Matthew, good night. A day, girl, a day in Spain. Mr. Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
On the 6th of December, that's when the opposition, Dr. Mitchell, will be speaking.
Yes, on the 6th.
Oh, that day is my birthday, you know. oh God, oh! That's my birthday, the 6th of December. That is next week, Wednesday.
Yes. Next week, Wednesday.
I'll never could make it, boy.
Oh, gosh,
I don't know.
We walked that one out.
Yes, I the 6th. That's my birthday. I'll be 6 years. Anyhow, listen to me. Mr. Mohan, these people is good people, you know. His father worked in the Ministry of Finance, and then he had a younger brother, and then he had a other one already in the lumber place. And you could say 95% of the Grenadian people get material to build a house from the government there. And that was really sad, you know. But Sheldon, don't worry. The longest prayer ever, amen. Don't worry, Deacon Mitchell and the whole gang, they will be living in Grenada. And we the people want to live to see these people. Don't joke with Papa God. Do not joke with that Almighty.
These
King
people,
Jesus, don't
bad
joke
mind
with
and
him.
wicked. Listen, I know the amount of money, and it was no joke
Why,
amount of
Mr.
money they
Scott,
had for this man.
listen to me.
And still have for the company.
They will live to stay in Grenada. They will not able to want live nowhere else. Right here, they will tell me, we will live to see. I might see them, but hands go bring news to me.
I know Francis tell
what
me.
will become of these people? Sherry and Scott. You go see what will happen to these people. Let them go to God and beg pardon. You go see what will happen to them. We the same people go sorry for them. You could have all the material things, all the money. You're going to see what will happen to these people. They have to go in sackcloth and ash and ask God pardon for what they're doing to their own fellow men. Their own fellow men in this country. And you have Grenadians, my beloved Prime Minister. Wait, I don't get all coming together. Just time longer than twine. And I would have liked Mr. Deacon Mitchell to walk the street of Grenada and visit the people in the market, visit the people on the terminal, visit the people on the side of the road. Let me speak to you. I personally would like to meet you face to face, sir. Face to face, because there's a lot of things I have to ask you. A lot. Because some of the media people, they're not asking you them hard questions. All you green, I don't care what coming to y'all. Joke with Almighty God. It's just a matter of time. Good night, Grenada.
Good night, Cammy. All right. Folks, I think we're going to wrap. Yeah, we're going to wrap because Saturday FX Day. We're going to wrap. Yeah, we're going to take a wrap on that tonight. Yeah, that's all the time we have for talking points tonight. Tomorrow, yes, believe me, we have more to discuss on this some more thing, because I think I need to go into the document and then I need to go into some other documents. I need to show you all, yeah, I need to go into the Grenada Constitution and show you all where people like Terry was talking a certain nonsense this morning about, you need a... I will show you all section 39 of the Constitution. I'll have to show you all where you can make changes to the Constitution through the Parliament and not through a referendum. Yeah? Major changes, referendum. Minor changes, where you might change a word, but that word may mean that you can now do certain things that you couldn't do before. That might be considered a minor change, and that could be done through Parliament, right? Just remember, when it came time to join the CCJ in St. Lucia, remember birds of a feather flock together? St. Lucian Prime Minister never went to referendum, and he just do it through Parliament. Just went Parliament, bam. We have over 2/3 majority. He just went Parliament, bam. He do it. He have 15 out of the 17 seats there. Bam. And he did it. Yeah? So remember, a lot of the things you're seeing happening there are being reflected here. So we never know what could be happening. Folks, that's all the time we have tonight for Talking Points. We'll be back tomorrow night, God's willing, with you. And, of course, for more Talking Points. All right? And in whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Remember, we've got the barbecue St. David's. They've got their barbecue taking place this Friday. Then you've also got on Thursday, you have got that meeting in Beaujeu. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. He will be the host on Thursday for the New National Party's public meeting. That'll be taking place down there in Beaujeu. Organize your bus, your car, your van, your donkey cart, your motorcycle, your motorbike, your scooter, your roller skates, your helicopter, your plane, your boat, your hovercraft, whatever means of transportation. Whether you're traveling, what they say, they call it again? Beam me up, Scotty, even if you're using that and all. Make sure that you're in Beaujeu on Thursday. This one is going to be bigger. The fire started in St. Mark. Coming through Guave there right now, you see the thing? Thursday night go be nice. All right? Yeah, I feel Talking Points coming up there, Yeah. We will be broadcasting, but I feel I'll be coming up too. All right, so folks, as I said, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. I am out.
Of men are scornful of principles of godliness, wisdom, and freedom. But woe comes swiftly, man. But woe comes quickly. Yes, they use and abuse women. They raise no children. They live a life of wicked thoughts, corruption, embarrassment, and shame. So in order to maintain power against the very forces of nature, they need to have the citizens living in fear. Man, but be not afraid, for fear is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for will come suddenly, nice, just as the longest road comes to a bend, so do the evil works of evil men found to soon to come to an end. I sing, but who don't care that the devil takes over their kingdom, they would kneel if they feel that they could cross a deal. But whoa comes swiftly, man. Whoa comes quickly, yeah. Now workers want to please their employers and their bosses by victimizing their neighbor because today their party is in power. I see, but they know what they do is wrong, and it's weighing their conscience down because all men know that no man knows the hour. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for woe comes suddenly. Just as the longest road comes to a bend, so do the evil works of evil men found to soon to come to an end. I sing, bye. I sing. In life and in the Bible, they have seen the fall of men of evil. They never learn, they believe they are in the next level. But whoa comes swiftly, man. Whoa comes quickly, yes. But the days are numbered, all the deeds are known. Their hate, their division, the anger, the poverty they have sown. But it's coming to harvest day, when the oppressed will have their say, when all those who hurt my people will have to pay. Man, but be not afraid, for there is your enemy. A man afraid to speak of what oppresses him, enslave himself to a man just like him. But be not afraid, for woe comes suddenly. I say, just as the longest road comes to a bend, so through the evil works of evil men found to soon to come to an end. I sing, bye-bye.
Yes, parang music at its best. Yay, what you dance? What you dance for the music? Hi, yay, kick the foot. Don't move the foot no man. Hi, hi, fire, he, ha. suit? Bring that back, man. I said bring it back, man. Cried something, she come out Aruba. She taking a night rest by Nura. But to me she still don't easy. Sleeping in the hall by Trudy. As soon as you open the front door, she lie down on and cushion on the floor. This year in Parang I don't want her. She still making love in Kokostra. Tell them we do easy. We saw we J clothes already. When we start to liquid up, no even water could pull us down. Tell them we do easy. We saw we J clothes already. When we start to liquid up, no even water could pull us down. For your naked heart attack, are you begging tearing to make back? Every night you in the veranda, playing you going by your godmother. Say she see I through the louvers. You say was looking for Santa Claus. Tearing say you lie, you don't easy. You peeping when she changing, she 90. Tell them we do easy. We so we J clothes already. When we start to liquid up, no even water could pull us down. Tell them we do